Another edition of the Mangia Cast. Bob Papa, Chris Bizignano, talking ball, talking vino, and a little chin chin to you, my friend. Boom.
Chin.
We're off and running. Hopefully, you're enjoying a cocktail with us. And we're going to talk a little Super Bowl, what's going on in the NFL, travels, you name it, you got it. And we're off and running, Biz. How you been, my friend?
I'm doing good, and I'm going to start off this podcast. Well, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit because I caught some of your show on Sirius, airing it out, Sirius XM with Logan Monday morning. And you said, hey, it was a boring Super Bowl. And I understand where you're coming from. But I'm going to say this, Bob, and I agree with Logan on something, okay? I appreciate me and you, Bob, are the same age. We go back a long way, watch 70 days, and I appreciate real good defense. And I appreciate a dominating defense. And Bob, man, we saw that Sunday evening. A team that came out and absolutely dominated the Kansas City Chiefs up front. And we know, Bob, look, we're both Giants guys. You were the voice of the Giants for a long time, but we're both Giants fans. And yeah, I'm sure you will lean like me. We don't want to see the Eagles celebrate and all that stuff. But I appreciate that football team, Bob. The way they came out Sunday night. Physical. Nasty. They were there on a mission. And the Chiefs were not ready for it, my man. And I tell you, Bob, those guys up front just absolutely destroyed Kansas City's offensive line. And a couple of things, we'll get into this game. A couple of things caught up with Kansas City. One, Joe Tooney, who was an all-pro guard, played pretty well for them, and they had to move him out the left tackle, right? But I kind of sort of, against the Bills, he didn't play as well. And then he was exposed Sunday. He got blown up a lot.
Asking a lot.
You're asking a lot, and they kind of got their run there. Now, it was interesting, Bob, because they had a healthy DJ Humphries, who was a pretty solid tackle over the years.
Yeah.
But they stuck with Tooney, and they put Caliandro. Bob, you remember a lot of people were talking about, we can't wait to see the Jalen Carter, Trey Smith matchup and all that stuff. And remember, I texted you, I said, Bob, they're going to have a problem up front with Caliandro and Jalen Carter. Forget about Jalen Carter matchup. They're going to have a problem up front with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter against Caliandro. And they did. The interior of the line was not getting beat, and the two tackles. Jawan Taylor was getting destroyed. Tooney was getting beat. Bob, it was so impressive. I mean, I guess the last time we saw a defensive domination like that in the Super Bowl was probably, I guess, the 2000 Ravens. I guess the Giants. You're talking then the 85 Bears. Bob, we go back to the
Seattle
70
against
Steelers,
the Broncos, MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
That was pretty. That was pretty
Bowl
dominant. 48. That was pretty good.
Yep. It was impressive, Bob. And I tell you what, my man. When Cooper DeJean had the pick six and made it 17. First off, Bob was late. He's coming back from Morocco. We'll get into his trip. Yeah, he covering golf in Morocco for the week. We'll get into that in a little bit. Your experiences over there. But when Cooper DeJean, I didn't want to. So Bob was on a text chain and he was late. He was catching up. So I didn't want to tell Bob what the hell was going on because he was catching up in the first half. He didn't know what was going on yet. So I didn't want to blow him up, the game up for him. But when Cooper DeJean had that pick six, and I kind of disagree with Tom Brady. Yes, Chris Bizignano was going to disagree with Tom Brady a little bit. Tom said, hey, Cooper really fooled Mahomes in that one. He kind of suckered him into that throw. And I didn't see that. What I did see was Cooper in a zone. And when you're in a zone, eye maintenance, eye discipline is a must. And I saw Cooper. And I saw Cooper reading Mahomes' eyes, going to across his body level, going to his left. And I saw Cooper reading it all the way, broke on the ball, and he goes back for the pick six. And Bob, right there, I'm going to get into a little story, and then you jump in, my man. Right there, I said, it was 17-0 second quarter. I said, this one is over. Okay, so let me explain why. I know. So Bill Leckis, a colleague of yours in SiriusXM, a guy I really respect. Bill's a good football man. Me and Bill became friends via social media. We go back and forth a lot, me and Bill. I like Bill a lot. And I said, Bill put out there, well, the Chiefs, this is kind of what they want, don't count these guys out. And I said to Bill on X, I said, it's not happening today. And Bill came back and says, okay, Chris, these guys are like Dracula. You can't. And I didn't sit on, but I totally get where Bill was coming from. But Bob, no way. I said 17. I said, this game is over. Why I said that? Because they were getting totally dominated up front. There was no signs, none, that the Chiefs were going to move the ball on the Eagles. And I thought Andy Reid, who was one of the best coaches to ever walk the sidelines, Bob, but I thought he got into a little bit of the old Philadelphia Andy Reid. And what I mean by that is that you remember how much he used to get criticized for not running the ball in Philly?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I kind of thought, and I put it on X. I said, these guys are getting killed up front. You better try to establish your run here, Coach Reid, because you better start trying to slow these guys down. I thought he got away from the run. Not that it probably wouldn't have mattered, but I thought he got away from the run a little bit in the first half. He should have tried, especially in that first quarter, to establish it. But Bob, the Zach Bourne interception before half, and then the AJ crosser for the touchdown made it 24-0. It was over, buddy. That's the way I felt. I said, there's no way they're coming back on these guys today.
So this is how good a friend you are.
Thank you.
You and Don Sperling. This is how good a friend you are. So my flight lands from Morocco around 2:00. You got to go through customs, all that stuff. Because I was working PGA Tour champions. Miguel Angel Jimenez gets another win. And by the time I got the bags and the golf clubs and everything else, I got to my car and started this drive from Ponte Vedra, or from Miami International Airport to Ponte Vedra. I knew I wasn't going to get home in time for kickoff. So I'm listening to pregame stuff and getting into it. So I send you and Don a text. I'm like, don't text me, because when we get to the national anthem, once I hear the national anthem, I'm switching over to PGA Tour radio. So the drive was a little slower than I would have hoped. And you and Don did not text me. You guys kept checking with me. Are you there yet? Are you there yet? Yeah. Finally, when I got home, I had it on record. So I'm watching. I see the interception. I'm like, oh, shit, this is not good. They look out of sorts. The pressure's getting to Mahomes already. I agree with you. I thought they would run it more. Try to use their run game and shorten the game, and not get into an up and down game. They didn't. But I didn't feel the way you did on the pick six. It was the second interception. And then they didn't hold them to 3, and then they didn't score late in the half. And it was like, man, this game is over. Over. I felt bad because my son Max, who's 10, was at his first ever Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I was hoping he was going to see a good game. He had a blast. Thanks to the NFL. They went to the tailgate, the whole thing. But I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, I know Fox, they got to try to keep the audience, and they're saying, you got a shot. But even on the fourth down play, Avonte Maddox made a nice play on it. Mahomes makes that throw 99 out of 100 times. Yeah. But he had happy feet. And he just shoved it out there high and late. But the bottom line is what you just said. Philadelphia outplayed them. They kicked their ass. Philadelphia is the best team in the National Football League for the 2024 season. You know what I was thinking? I mentioned this on Sirius today. The road to the championship is filled with potholes, adversities. We know about the Eagles being 2-2 and all that stuff.
Yes.
Nakobe Dean goes down with an injury. How's that going to affect them? Didn't miss a beat, obviously. And they set a record, right, for the most points scored in a conference championship game in a Super Bowl. But think about this. And hopefully they put this in America's game. Because every Super Bowl champion has a moment that could go either way. And it happens to go their way. Think back in the snow at Lincoln Financial Field. And Stafford is driving his team, and Puka Nacua makes the catch with 1:35 to go. Now they're in business. And it's 3rd and 2 at the 15 or the 17, wherever they were. And they run a whip route with Higbee. And if Jalen Carter doesn't get that sack, Stafford's hitting him. And when you look at it again, and I watched it again today, whoever was covering Higbee on the whip route slips in the snow because the footing is horrible. Stafford's going to put it on him, and Higbee's going to walk into the end zone 7 yards for the touchdown. Well, worst case scenario, now it's 1st and goal at the 4. Jalen Carter's sack, and then the pressure he got on the 4th down, literally was the difference between the Eagles receiving the Lombardi Trophy or not. Because they're about to go behind with less than a minute to go in the game. And in that conditions and everything else, it's not like you're going to suddenly hit Devontae Smith on a bomb or something like that. Not in that snow.
No, they were cooked.
And I think about it. I think about the Giants and their Super Bowl runs and JPP blocking the kick. Right, in Dallas. Because if the Giants don't win that game, they're pretty much eliminated. And, Eli's come back in the last 4 minutes or 5 minutes, down as many as they were, and the 2 quick scores. But if JPP doesn't block the kick, there is no Victor Cruz salsing as part of a championship team. There's no second Super Bowl MVP for Eli. And there's these things along the way that happen. And the great teams make those plays in big spots. But you think about how fragile it is, right? We got great news. Couldn't make it the other live show with Chris and Jerry. Lucky I'm out of work. This is going to be fun. All right, great news.
Welcome aboard.
Got another question. Speaking of Stafford, what about Stafford? What is this connect the dots with Giants and Stafford?
Well, that's the social media hot buzz today.
There's going to be so many takes. I mean, they're looking to deal Cooper Kupp. I feel bad for Cooper Kupp. I know it's a business. He's played, 24-3. He's played 33 games in 3 years. He's been injured a lot. But I feel bad, man, because the guy gave everything to the Rams. And they're telling him, we're looking to trade you. You're done, ski.
They already told him, It's not rumors. They've already told him.
No, they told him. And he posted some stuff, and I felt bad for him.
Yeah, you could tell it kind of hit home with him. He wasn't too happy with it. But
why would the Giants bring in Stafford?
I don't know, Bob. I kind of laughed at it last time when we did the podcast. I think it's ridiculous. Until I hear Sean McVay say we're going to move Stafford or release him, I'm not believing anything. And so look, this Rams team. We'll get back to the Super Bowl in a second. This Rams team,
your team, the Rams,
right? Like the Bengals are your guys. You love the Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I kind of adopted my second team with the Rams, right? So, hey, they're playoff ready, man. They're just coming off a division. They draft well. They got a lot of young talent. Why would we be looking to move Matthew Stafford when they could make a run next year? This team, like you just said, was an arm hit away from going to the championship game.
It's a Jalen Carter sack, or they're going to the championship.
If Jalen Carter doesn't hit Matthew's arm, they're going to Washington the following week. They're playing home the championship game against the following week. And they're probably going to go to Super Bowl. So I don't get this at all. But getting back, Bob, I don't know about you, man, but I look at the Eagles and I said, when I saw that play early in the game where Trey Smith, one of the more physical guards in the league, they ran a little counter. I think Pacheco was carrying that with Pacheco. And Nolan Smith off the edge, who has to give up, 50 pounds to Trey? Just blew him up. He blew up Smith on that block. And I know Ojoma was right behind him wrapping up Pacheco. But, man, to me, Bob, I looked at that and said, these guys are here to play. Yeah, Paisan. And it was over, Bob. I mean, that was just total domination. And look, Spags, he felt good about Watson and McDuffie on the outside in his man matchups. And guess what? Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni, they felt they had the advantage with AJ and Devontae Smith on the outside. And they were right. We saw with Devontae Smith, even the first drive that was called back for the kind of questionable OPI, AJ beats McDuffie on a 4th down play. AJ beats him later on, that 9 fade down the sideline. Devontae gets him on a big play later on. He gets Watson. Bob, the Eagles were a better team.
It's not even close.
Question. It's not even close. So the only way the Chiefs, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Eagles are going to blow them out. I did text you and Don. I said, you know what? I'm going with the Eagles here. I thought Saquon would be the difference. He wasn't. But the Chiefs win games. They've won a lot of close games this year because they have the best quarterback in football, the best coach in football. They don't beat themselves. They don't have penalties. They don't turn the ball over. But what do they do Sunday night, Bob? They turned the ball over. They had penalties, and the offensive line could. In the first quarter, Bob, I was getting flashbacks of the Tampa Bay game. I was like, wow, this is starting to look like the Tampa Bay game when they got destroyed in 2020.
Well, see what happens when a quarterback is under pressure and he starts getting hit early and often? The best quarterback in the league. He is the best quarterback in the league because there's no other quarterback currently playing in the National Football League, including if Aaron Rodgers signs with another team. There's no quarterback in the National Football League that's been to 5 Super Bowls.
No, you're talking about a quarterback that might go down when it's all said and done as the best that ever played this game. But, Bob, you know what it reminded me of a little bit? Could I bring something up to you about when I saw Mahomes getting hit? When Tom Brady's 100% right, you could see him, those feet moving in that pocket. I thought he tried to bail a few times in that pocket where he could have stuck it and tried to get a read. And I thought of our old quarterback, the much maligned Daniel Jones. Well, how many times when I used to put on Exo, we would talk and say, man, this kid had no chance today. None. He's getting blasted every game. How the hell are you supposed to succeed in that? How do you not get happy feet? And then you look at the best quarterback in the league, maybe going to go down in the future as the best ever, and you see his feet dancing in that pocket, Bob?
Ming.
Right?
Ming. Like Ming.
I was like, Ming. Whoa.
Oh, hey,
I mean,
it's just this.
I understand, but you looked at Daniel Jones and all the criticism on him at times, and it was sometimes you deserved it, no question about it. We know it didn't work here in New York and all that stuff, but man, when the times that Daniel was in the pocket and we said, this kid's got no chance. But even the best in the game, right? When he's getting blasted in that pocket, starts looking around, Bob, the feet start dancing. And that happened to Mr. Mahomes Sunday night.
Listen, this whole thing, don't start bringing Daniel Jones into this shit because I'm trying to divorce myself from giant as far as this is concerned. But
I'm not dragging Giant Blue. I'm dragging Daniel
down from Yonkers. I'm in Morocco. I send out a tweet Thursday morning. We go live. Hey, how about some breakfast at 8 a.m. Eastern, live from Rabat, Morocco, PGA Tour Champions Round 1. You're going to see Ernie Els, Miguel Angel Jimenez, Retief Goosen, Stuart Sink, Podrick Harrington. We got them all on the field. First guy to respond to my tweet, Alan Yonkers. All right, so thoughts on waving the Eagles flag. I know your man Jerry's all fired up about it. Give the number back, all this other stuff. Listen, you guys got to understand something. As someone who has had to dance between working local and national TV, Michael Strahan is paid a shitload of money to be on Fox's pregame show, and he's been on it for a long time. It's a national show. It's not a giant PR show. He's working for a network, and he's got to serve a national audience, okay? Over the years, Howie Long has been very critical of the Raiders organization. Jimmy Johnson obviously has been critical of the Cowboys. And Terry Bradshaw, he had that falling out with the Steelers. He would hold the Steelers' feet to the fire. Like, that's your job. Your job. And now you're doing the pregame on Fox, which goes for 88,000 hours. And you got to do segments to keep the audience entertained. And Michael's a showman. Again, he's there because he's a Hall of Famer. He was a great player for the Giants, all-time leading sack leader. But he's got a job to do. So he's on this boat. He's with Saquon. And he waves the Eagles flag, fly, Eagles, fly. It's fun. It's a pregame show. He's on national television. Michael Strahan does not collect money from the Giants as part of the Giants radio or TV broadcast team. When they ask him, when our man Don Sperling asked him to come to the studio to record something for something the Giants are doing, Michael's accommodating. When the coach asks him to speak to the team, where he shows up to practice to mentor young players, he does it because he's a former Giant. Once a Giant, always a Giant. But for people to get so bent out of shape about Michael Strahan, I mean, it was either that or he was going to do a Chiefs chant. He wasn't going to earn for all a Giants banner because they're not in the Super Bowl. And he was with Saquon and the Giant ties, and he was having fun. The pregame show is about having fun and then making predictions. So all of you that are bent out of shape about Strahan doing this, that's his job. I did it. Listen, I did Thursday Night Football for 3 years on NFL Network. In fact, I did the Thursday night Thanksgiving game in Denver when the Giants got routed on NFL Network, not radio. And I tried to call it straight. And that's your job. You got to wear hats. Yeah, Michael's a Giant fan. I'm sure inside Michael was pissed that the Eagles were winning a Super Bowl, and I'm sure he's upset that the Giants aren't very good. But he's doing his job. And for the fans to say he should be excommunicated or, oh, they should unretire his number, what a disrespect. So Sal wants to know, would Jeter wave a Red Sox flag? I don't know. Probably not.
That's the point.
Probably not. I don't know, but listen.
Look, everybody understands what you're saying, but Giant fans don't want to hear that. Know what Giant fans would have liked to see Strahan get that flag up like he's going to wave it? You want to talk about entertainment pregame and then go like this? Wait a minute, Saquon, I can't do this. Are you
Well, that
crazy?
would have been funny.
Now, that would have been entertainment. So, Bob, Giant fans don't want to hear about how he works for Fox News. All Giant fans say, and even Banksy, when I said on Twitter, I just threw an innocent. Honestly, I was just throwing a let's have a laugh tweet out there when I said, "Hey, I can never picture Carl Banks and Lawrence Taylor waving an Eagles flag," which has now been viewed over 165,000 times, and people, Giant fans, Bob, they're not going to want to hear about. Well, it's entertainment. It's Fox. It's a Fox pregame. I tell you what Michael should have done. I don't think Fox would have a problem with this, Bob. This would have been the real entertainment. Like I just said, look, picks it up. Saquon's waving it because Saquon's an Eagle. God bless him. And Strahan goes like this, about to wave it, and then go like this. Are you guys crazy? I'm not waving this flag, and hand it back to Saquon. You do. That's the passion of the Giants fan. They did not want to see a Giant waving an Eagles flag.
All right.
I'm explaining the emotion of it, Bob. That's all. I'm explaining the emotion of it. You know what I mean? You listen to me or not? I see you looking at it.
I'm listening to you.
I mean, that's the emotion. So the entertainment part, right, should have been Michael saying to the Fox executive, whoever it was who he has to talk to, you know more about this, and saying, hey, look, I'm going to act like I'm going to wave this, and then say, I'm a Giant. I'm not waving this, Saquon. And everybody would have laughed. The entertainment value would have been there. Giant fans would have been happy and all that stuff. You do know now, Bob. You do know now that Jerry brought this up. Jerry Foley, my partner, Giant Insider Podcast, brought this up. that guess what? When they're in the link next year, you know what they're going to be showing in that scoreboard.
Oh, I know what they're
Come
gonna
on,
do.
Pop. Don't give me your executive talk now and your TV talk. This is reality now. Up in that link scoreboard, you're going to see Strahan waving that Eagles flag just to stick it to the Giants of the Eagles love to do. So that's the point Giant fans were saying. Like, even when I said that, Banksy subtweeted it right away. He said facts. You know, he's having fun with it. Of course, if he was on a pregame show for 3 hours, he might have to fold. And Lawrence Taylor probably would have told everybody, no, stick it up, you know what? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
do you understand the other side of it? Giant fans aren't going for that. They're not going to go for that. They're not going to have anybody, a Giants great, which Michael is. We all know that. Michael's one of the all-time Giant greats, and waving an Eagles fan. It's just not going to fly, Bob. Bob, are you there? I mean, are you listening to me, Strahan? I see you looking down.
I'm getting.
Are you blowing me? Are you ignoring me? Or are you listening to me?
I got it.
Do you understand that?
I understand why.
It's not happening with Giant. Bob, you could give that TV side all you want. Giant fans are like, no way.
He could have played it better, and he's a good actor.
He's a showman. Right? Like you said. That's all I'm saying. Like, look, Bob.
He could have touched his chest. I got it.
It didn't really.
Look,
I have to be honest. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, Michael, come on!" You know, it didn't. Really, but it bothered a lot of Giants fans. It definitely, without question, did. And when Jerry texted me, I didn't even think about it. Jerry texted me because you know the Eagles are going to use this. The first Giants game in the link, they're going to be showing Strahan waving that flag. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, yeah, you're right. You're right, dude. I didn't even think about that. Oh, they're definitely going to do that in the link next year. No question about it. So that's the passion there. It's just, you know, and I see people like, well, you know, Banks played for Washington. And so what? Well, so what? That wasn't the point of the tweet. The point was like me having fun with it.
The Banks didn't play for Washington.
Yeah, sure he did.
No, you asked Carl Banks?
Oh, okay. No, I know that. No, Banks likes to erase that part.
In Carl's mind,
he hated it there. I know that.
Carl played for the Giants
and Cleveland.
He played for the Browns.
I know that. Carl.
Yeah, you should.
Hey, you know what?
That was old school.
Mm-hmm.
That was an old school era where there was hatred, and he was unaccepted by his own teammates on the defensive side of the ball because he was a Giant.
Yep.
That's how.
Same thing with Bavaro when he went to Philly. Mark told us that. In the pocket when he went to Philly, he wasn't accepted at first, man. He grown to like those guys, but Mark came right out and said it. You know. But that's different than waving a flag when he retired on a boat, and the fans just didn't like it, Bob. That's it. The fans did not like it at all. Like you said. Now look, Bob. Derek Jeter is on a national platform, right?
Yeah,
Can you picture him?
I'm getting a direct message from someone who covers the National Football League on a national basis.
And what are they saying?
Who is all in on the Mangia Cast. Can't come on as a guest right now, but is looking forward to being able to come on as a guest somewhere down the road.
Okay, and we look forward to.
So now you have my attention back.
I look forward to having him on.
Hopefully, look at me.
I know you don't want to say.
Back.
You know, you're Italian, right? So when I talk, I'm used to people looking at me when I talk.
I know. I was giving you the.
Yeah. So okay. So I have your attention again now.
Yeah, you got my attention.
Okay, so you have to tell me who that person is later on. I'm hopefully looking forward. I'm going to look forward to him.
She's tremendous.
I'm looking forward to him being on. But Bob, and we're going to have probably another very good guest next week, right, Bob? So
I think we got someone that people are going
to really enjoy next week. But I don't like to say just in case plans change with that person for now. But you just answered your own question. Now, Derek Jeter is on a national platform.
Derek Jeter.
Right? He's on pregame shows. And now if they ask him, can I talk 1 second?
Yeah.
Can I get my point in? Right away, you're going to jump in. Now I got your attention. You're ready to jump in.
Let me know 10 years from now what he does.
Okay.
I don't think Michael would have done that in 2009.
So it's okay now?
Everybody softens.
I know you, Papa. Even you deep down, you're like, I kind of wish Michael didn't do that. Please stop. Okay. So do you think if Jeter would on a pregame, and he's going to be on the pregame next year? Was he on Channel 5, I believe, right? With Ortiz, with David Ortiz, I think A-Rod, that whole crew. You think Derek Jeter, if they ask him, there's a segment, Derek Jeter, without question, says, I'm not waving that Red Sox flag. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Thank you.
We'll find out. Let's answer Ask Seven's question. Randy White, second overall pick for Craig Morton. Nah, they're not going to do something like that.
No.
Forget about Jameis Winston. He's not going to be a bridge quarterback.
No.
I will say this. Jameis Winston, as much fun as he is, and as, he'll have some games, Jameis Winston's interception ratio and the pick sixes and stuff make him a guy he's not what he's a backup, but he's not a bridge. Because you can't have a bridge quarterback throwing pick sixes as much as he does.
Thank you.
And then asking the forces above to pray that he stops throwing pick sixes.
I mean,
that's not what you want as a bridge.
Bob, look, I text you halfway through the season. We were talking about it a little bit. I said, this Jameis is intriguing. He's intriguing.
I
He's
shut your ass down.
And you shut my ass down. You were like, stop. And I said, yeah, but look, I know he's going to give you a few picks, blah, 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 blah. But you were like, nah, come on, stop. And then Kevin Stefanski said, yeah, stop. I've had enough of watching Jameis Winston throw to the wrong jersey. And he sat him down at the end of the year for DRT there. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
that says everything.
That says everything. I was trying to explain that to some people on X, saying, folks, forget about it. He just throws to the wrong jersey too much. Yes, he'll throw for 300 yards, but coaches are not going to want to sit there. Brian Dable, which could be his last year, okay, if everything goes really south, doesn't want to watch a bridge quarterback throw to the wrong jersey, to watch another pick six. 2 games later, another pick six. No, of course, again, no, that's not happening. So Jameis, I love Jameis, Pop. He's entertaining. I think he's a good dude. I think he's a leader. I think teammates absolutely love him.
Until he starts throwing pick sixes, and then they're sitting on the sideline going, what the?
Right. So he throws to the wrong jersey. I had somebody say to me, hey, he threw for 5,000 yards. I said, yeah, he threw for 5,000 yards one season, 33 touchdowns. He also threw 30 picks.
Well, you remember Bruce Arians' comment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he was like, someone asked him, it's 5,000 yards, 30-something. He goes, he also threw 30-something interceptions.
30. Yeah.
Come on, enough. And, if you don't risk it, you can't win the biscuit was right in what he did moving on. Hey, Kellen Moore. Be interesting to see how the Eagles deal with losing the OC. Remember, after they went to the Super Bowl the last time, they lost both coordinators, clearly affected them. Mm-hmm. Fangio's not going anywhere. I was almost surprised Moore took the job. I was expecting in the last day or so an about face and him staying in Philly, run it back. Now, I know there's only 1 of 32, but the quarterback situation sucks. The salary cap situation stinks. I know it's a lousy division, but I thought he might stay with Philly because he's gonna be a guy that's gonna have a pick of the litter even next year. Even if the Eagles, first of all, the Eagles, how down could they possibly have unless Hurts gets hurt for the year, and Saquon only plays 4 games, and A.J. Brown doesn't play, and Goddard. So he's going to always have this on his resume now as the Super Bowl champion. I thought he might wait for maybe what would be perceived as a better job because next year there'll be 6 jobs open, and 2 or 3 of them are going to have decent quarterback situations.
Bob, I think he feels this is his time. I have to be honest with you, Bob. I did not think that. I thought for sure Kellen wanted it.
I thought he was going to do a Ben Johnson last year and say no.
Well, I think, as the time went on and Saints won't announce it to anybody and they won't, we kind of knew that it was a done deal. But like you said, there's always that
You could have
possibility.
Josh McDaniels.
Like Josh McDaniels. I was just
been
going
on
to
a
say,
plane.
like Josh did. Woof! I'm going back. But that's Belichick and all that stuff. I think Kellen looked at it like, you know what? He wants to be a head coach, and who knows what the hell's going to happen next year. Let me jump on this now. I know it's not the best situation, but let me jump on this now. You know, these guys, they love the challenge of turning a team around. And there he is. And he took the job, and I think he'll do a pretty good job. We'll see. Now, like you said, how's it going to affect the Eagles? Right? Like it did 2 years ago. We'll see. We'll see.
I feel like Sirianni has grown up a little bit, matured. I mean, he's been to 2 Super Bowls.
I agree.
I got a feeling that they're not going to miss much of a beat. Barring the injuries that I mentioned, because you can't predict that. But I feel like they got a better handle on things now. But, it is fleeting because you could go back over the years. How many guys have been hot coordinators that interview for jobs?
Sure.
Just don't almost get them. They don't get them. They come close to getting them. They don't. And then the teams that they're with hit the shitter. And suddenly they're not being interviewed for anything. Look at Bobby Slowick. After the 2023 season, Bobby Slowick is one of the hottest. The offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, this, that, and the other thing. Every game you watched, Bobby Slowick is going to be a head coach most likely in the NFL next year. Ding, a ding, a ding, a ding, a bing, a bing, a bing. What's Bobby Slowick now got hired to do?
I just read you a tweet. He's an assistant quarterbacks coach for, I forget which team it was. I just read it to you a little while ago. So that's how far.
Miami, right?
Miami. Yes. Thank you. Miami. I didn't want to go with my phone and look it up. So yeah, that's how far you could fall in this league real fast.
It's a tough league. It's a tough league.
It's a tough business, man. It really is. As far as the Chiefs, Pop, look, you know what they're going to do. They're going to do what they did after they did in 2020. They're going to regroup that offensive line. They're going to go out there and going to get a tackle. They need tackles. They know that. And I expect them to be right back. Why? Andy Reid, Mahomes. You got Rashee Rice back next year. He's already running pretty hard. He expects to be back for camp. No problem. You got the development of Xavier Worthy. He was the only guy that played well on the offensive side of the ball for him the other day. Kelsey, we'll see what he does. I expect him to run it back another year.
You think so?
I think he'll run it back another year. I know he's going back and forth and stuff. I think he's still competitive enough. I think he might run it back another year. But I could be wrong. That's just my opinion.
What do you think is going to happen with Rodgers? I think Rodgers is going to try to play somewhere.
I think Rodgers will come back. I don't think Rodgers wants to go out like this.
No,
he's so competitive. The Jets basically tell him we're not interested. 5-12. I think he's got a lot of good football left.
That's a lot of good football. He's got some good football.
I think he's got a lot of good football left. Aaron Rodgers, 3/4 of Aaron Rodgers, some football is still way better than a lot of quarterbacks in this league, Bob.
Yeah, like if you look at his stat line, you say, I would take that. Now, if you watch the Jet games on a regular basis, there were some games this year that he played horribly late, and it cost them games.
And now, Bob, do you agree though that once he got healthy, he played much better?
And the hamstring injury.
He had the hamstring. Yeah.
Here's the unfair part for Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins. These guys have been outstanding players, right? Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. Cousins has been a really good quarterback. He's been an upper echelon quarterback, never in the
top 5,
top 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But that next group.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're a little bit older, I've talked to a bunch of players. I did my Sirius show today on with Manti Te'o, who suffered an Achilles injury.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy to come back from, especially at that age. So Aaron Rodgers, he got hurt week 1. Cousins got hurt in the 8th game. You spent all offseason rehab and trying to get back. You're not taking care of your body to play. You're taking care of your body to get healthy. And I think Aaron Rodgers has some game left. And I think Ooh, he'd be a good guest. I know he goes AWOL. I was going to text him, but
Who?
Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be good, but I think he's got to deal with McAfee. But I do give them the benefit of the doubt that next year those guys have a chance to be better than what we saw this year. How about great news? Vikings for Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think so, my man. I think Kevin O'Connell. I'm going to say two things about the Vikings. One, Kevin O'Connell's JJ is going to be Kevin's guy next year. Okay, and two, I think Kevin likes Daniel Jones, my man.
Yeah, they definitely have a good relationship. There's something between those two guys that there's a connection.
Hey, I expect Daniel to be there. I think Kevin O'Connell likes Daniel, and JJ's their guy there, and Daniel's going to be the guy behind JJ. And they'll be in training camp and all that stuff, competing. And we'll see what happens there. But Aaron Rodgers has still got good football left in him, Bob. He still has good, and half of Aaron Rodgers is still better than 3/4 of the quarterbacks in this league, brother. So I think he could help a team. I think
what about the Steelers?
Help a team.
You think he'd be better than Russell Wilson?
I think absolutely.
The thing is, see, Mike Tomlin. That's why I think Rodgers to the Raiders or the Steelers makes sense, because you got Super Bowl winning coaches and guys who have been to multiple Super Bowls, which Rodgers has not been to, that they're not going to kowtow to him because they are. This is what we're going to do. This is what we see.
Right.
How about Devontae Adams saying that he wants to go where Rodgers goes? Can you imagine Rodgers signs with the Raiders?
Devontae goes back.
I bet you he'd go back.
I wouldn't surprise me one bit. And you have a nice number 2 receiver there with Jacoby Myers.
Josh McDaniels isn't there. Antonio Pierce isn't there. GM Tom Telesco's not there. It's Pete Carroll and Tom Brady's there.
That's a pretty good combination. So I think Rodgers is not going to go out like this, Bob. Where the Jets Aaron Glenn basically tells him, "Hey, we don't want, thank you, but no thank you." 5-12. A lot of people saying, you had decent numbers, but all that kind of, I think he's too prideful. I don't think Aaron wants to go out like that. I expect him to be back next season with somebody.
I agree. Getting fired by the Jets to end your career is not what Aaron Rodgers had in his bingo card.
No.
He wants to go out on his own terms. Now, they all want to go out winning a Super Bowl. That's not realistic. Very few get that chance. Elway, Peyton Manning, Strahan, Ray Lewis. But there's a lot of other guys on the team that are saying, this is my last game and I want to go out winning a Super Bowl, and they wind up losing the Super Bowl. So it's few and far between that get to experience it. But
Bob, do you think, getting back to Kellen Moore quick, do you feel he will do a good job? Do you like him down in New Orleans? How do you feel he will be as a head coach?
I'd be lying if I said I knew. Be lying. There's some veteran dudes on that are almost his age on that team.
Yeah.
How's he going to command a team? The one thing I like about the Kellen Moore hire, they're hiring Kellen Moore because of whatever vision he gave them, whatever plan he set forth for them, charting the course. Obviously, he killed it in the interview as a leader, and he has a plan. I like that better than some of these head coaches that what appears to be they're getting hired for one guy. They're getting hired for their offense and the quarterback. Well, we don't know who the quarterback is going to be in New Orleans. Is it going to be Carr? Are they going to move on from Carr? Whatever the case is, even if they're going to keep Carr, and he said, here are things I can do with Derek Carr. It's not the same as Ben Johnson is going to Chicago, and the main reason he's going there is because of his offense, and we got to get the most out of Caleb Williams because he was the number 1 overall pick. And Liam Cohen's going to Miami for all the other stuff. He's going there because his offense was successful with Baker, and Trevor Lawrence has not achieved his max potential. at least Kellen Moore going to New Orleans, that's not there. So there were other things in there that I'm sure sold them on the head coach.
Absolutely.
But we'll see. Did you have when do you get your buffalo chicken pizza? What night of the week is that?
Oh, I didn't get buffalo chicken pizza. I got a margarita pizza pie tonight.
Oh, tonight. See,
Yeah.
that's how you know you're from New York City.
How's that?
Especially New York City.
How's that?
The Bronx, it's the same thing. And even growing up in Jersey, I never heard that. It's a New York thing when you say, I went and I got a pizza pie.
It's a pie.
Jersey,
New York.
Jersey growing up.
What'd you call it?
Go get a pizza.
Oh, it was a pie to me.
We're going to make a pizza.
Oh, you always said pie. Yeah.
But in the Bronx, where my parents are from, and my grandparents, and even me being born in the Bronx and growing up and being in the Bronx a lot in my youth, you always said we're going to get a pizza pie. I try to tell my kids too. There might have been pepperoni, but that was it. Maybe sausage.
Things changed the last 20 years.
When
I was a kid, there was no such thing as buffalo chicken pie and pizza. Oh, excuse me, pizza. There was no such thing as that stuff.
No, there was Sicilian, there was plain, and maybe pepperoni and sausage.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there was the vodka pie.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden someone realized, like all good things that are Italian food, peasant food, suddenly you go to restaurants and it's a big thing. Like stuff that my family ate because they had no money. My mom and dad when they were kids and all. Suddenly that became fancy cuisine and you see it in restaurants. Broccoli Dob, all that stuff. So,
hey, I grew up in L&B pizza, but there was no even cheese on it, no mozzarella on it, man. Now you do know about the famous L&B pizza, Spumoni Gardens in Brooklyn. Oh my God, he's such a Jersey freaking guy. Oh,
but they didn't have that in the Bronx either.
Oh, L&B's famous. It's in Brooklyn, 86th Street. It's nutbag. How could you never even heard of that? Oh God. So anyway, when I was young,
I gone there during Lent all those years because I always gave up cheese for Lent, and I would make cheeseless pizzas.
Well, there you go. Somewhat in that ball. It was Sicilian. Okay. And that was another thing when I moved to Jersey too. One time, so I say to this guy when I first moved to Jersey, two things. I'm out here 8 years now, a little over 8 years. First week, I wanted a chicken palm hero. You ready? So I go into the place. Say, hey, don't man. You know. Hey, where you from? New York? Like I'm from another planet. Yeah, New York. I said, can I get a chicken palm hero? What? Chicken palm hero. What am I speaking in a freaking language? Oh, it's chicken palm. Oh, you mean a sub? I'm like, dude, is it chicken mozzarella? Mozzarella? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Mozzarella? Yeah, melted on. That's a chicken palm hero, right? Oh, we call it sub. You're a New York guy, huh? They call it. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Chicken palm sub better. Nobody.
Listen, in the Bronx, it's heroes too.
Okay, I don't know.
You get a hero. Look at Jerry's weighing in. Even I know Ellen.
Yes.
Wow. You know what, Jerry? I never chime into your show and route you. I route Chris. The gloves are coming off.
So now here's another thing.
It's just his ass.
Here's another thing. So I came out here in Jersey, and I'm over here in like Northwest Jersey. I know you never heard of Hunterdon County, even though you're a Jersey guy your whole life, which is another weird thing. But I said I walked in a place and I said, "Yeah, can I get a couple of Sicilians?" What? A couple of Sicilian slices. Oh, you mean the squares? Yeah, okay, the squares. I'm like, okay, is that what you never heard of Sicilian slice? Okay, can I get a couple squares, please? So I had to make these adjustments when I moved out here. I'm used to my own, like you just said, Bob. Like in Staten Island, it was pie. You never said, "Hi, can I get a pizza?" No, it was, give me 2 pies, 1 pepperoni, 1 plain, 1 mozz, maybe a little sausage, all that. It was never just calling up pizzeria and said, "Can I get 2 pizzas?" What they would look at? What are you talking about, guy? You know what I mean? Everything was pie. And I'm sure your parents grew up with that, saying it was pie.
Pie. That's all we knew it.
Right.
My job on Friday night was to make the pizza pie because we ate no meat on Fridays.
And speaking of your kid, your son, what did you think your son Will's debut on the Giant Insider podcast? I thought he did very well. He explained his website.
He did nice.
I thought he did a hell of a job. What did you think? I know we texted about it a little bit last night, but what did you think?
I didn't even know he was going on until you told me. Or he told me. Like late.
No, I told you in the afternoon your son's going to be on tonight.
Yeah. And I asked him. I would have given him a little bit of a critique on, like, don't have the light right behind your head.
Well, he's new to this live podcast stuff, so he'll make adjustments on the fly.
He did okay.
I thought Will did a hell of a job. You saw the comments, right? So many people thought he spoke very intelligent.
He had a few plants in there too. It was nice.
He had a couple of ringers.
You know what though? You know what he did though? He brought some new people to sample your podcast.
Absolutely, yeah.
The more the merrier.
I think Jerry told me I think we had around 1,200 live that were watching, and then I was glad for Will. Let a lot of people, see his website, find out about it, and he wants to do some things together. But I thought he did a hell of a job.
How about Sal says in Yonkers it's called a wedge?
What the hell's a wedge?
It's a hero. Or in Jersey it's a sub.
Oh, okay. I never heard of that either.
It's called a wedge.
I never heard of that. So
you could ask Sperling. He's from Yonkers.
That's right. Don's a Yonkers guy. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's a Yonkers guy.
By the way,
he says from the Bronx, but Yonkers.
While you're down in Florida, by the way, there's salt in the street because it's snowing here a little bit. Just
joy. We had a heavy fog last night.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So,
get back to me in August when there's another Category 4 rolling through Florida. Okay, so before you start your bullshit, how's the weather, Chris? You're gonna play golf? I get so many texts from Florida people this time of year showing me pictures of themselves in shorts on the tee box. I got friends
that's
of Florida,
arrogant.
and they'd send me a picture. Hey, how's the weather up there? I'm about to tee off, and I don't know what my response is now to you Floridians.
It's just his ass. Is what I would say.
No, that's not my response. My response now is get back to me in July and August when you're sitting there in your Sunshine State and another Category 4 is rolling your way.
Depends on where you are.
Okay? That's what. Now you got to worry about your house getting blown down the street again because it's that time of year. So, you know what? At one time it bothered me there, Papa. Okay? Not anymore. Now I'm like, okay, it's a couple of months. It doesn't even snow much anymore. They're warm winters. Enjoy your time now with your shorts on. You're on the tee box. I'll be on the tee box in about 3 weeks. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Enjoy yourself because come the summer, when you're worried about looking at the weather report like this every day, oh my God, what the hell's coming up? I don't have to worry about that. And how many times did I text you over the summer? Bob, you guys are right down there? And you're like, oh no, I went north, I went south, I went to...
We're in a good spot. Jacksonville area is a good spot.
Why is that? Why is that a good spot? Okay, so
if you look at
they've been going through the Gulf side. What does that mean?
They've been going, but even when they come on the Atlantic side, it's usually South Florida that gets hit. Miami is it comes in that way. Some bounce up, but most of the time we just have tropical storms down here.
Yeah.
Jerry says in South Jersey it's a hoagie. That's the Philadelphia influence.
Yeah, I know. I learned that too. A hoagie, whatever the hell that is. So,
hey, I tried to get some video. I have video. I have a lot of video, actually. But I tried to get some video of, some really cool things from Morocco.
Oh, let's talk about Morocco. Yeah, you sent me a video of this restaurant.
This place, Zirab. It's unbelievable.
Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah, it's in the old walled city. We had, a traditional Moroccan meal. You got the French influence. This is
sure. Yeah.
Piatini, it's called. But that's actually that's not a dessert.
That's a dessert, or that's the meal?
No, that's a meal it's got chicken in it, and honey, and then coated with almonds and a French pastry around it.
Is this the restaurant where you had the cow brains or something?
Yeah. I had it again this year.
Okay.
It's good. You take a piece of the pita and you put it on there and you rub it as a spread. It was fine.
Now, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Are you a movie guy?
I like a movie.
Did you ever see Casablanca?
Who played Rick at Casablanca? Of course.
Okay, because when I text you about are you hitting Rick Blaine's place tonight, and you didn't, and for some reason I was like, don't tell me he doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. I mean, Casablanca is not that far from where you are, right? Is it in North
Casablanca
Africa?
is probably from
By the
where we
Atlantic side?
were, it was like an hour because a lot of the Europeans had to fly in to Casablanca, and then it's I don't know, it's like an hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes from Rabat.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So
So I know you weren't that far from Casablanca.
So yeah, I mean it's a cool place, man. It's the taxi, the car service picked us up at the hotel. You got to go across this little body of water, and then you get to the old city, and they got all these doors. It's a walled old city, and it's got the Medina in it. On my social media pages like Twitter and Instagram, I posted it, and you go into this door. They open a door, and a dude from the restaurant shows up with a lantern. And then you're going through this Medina, and you're making lefts and rights and lefts, and you're going up this alley and down that alley and that. Finally, you get to the restaurant, and it's like you walk in, and it's like a scene out of a movie. But the people are really nice, and the food, like we had all these appetizers, and they bring you, the cow brain. It comes in a small ramekin. You just taste it. They've got all these other spiced carrots and all these other good things to eat, and then you order your entrees for the table. Like, and the guys that I was with, they liked lamb, so this gigantic lamb shank shows up, and then the chicken tangine, which I would say is in the family of like a marsala minus the onions.
Okay.
Moroccan spices, and then that piatine came, and it was awesome.
Now, what would you compare the cow brains to taste wise? Like, what would you compare it to? Is there a comparison to something?
Yeah, it didn't taste bad. It's in this like stewed tomato, onion, and spice mixture. And I said I got to try it, right? I got to eat it. And 2 years in a row, I ate it. Just to say I did. My mom would be laughing at this because when I was a kid, I was the pickiest eater on the face of the earth. And for me to eat this, last year I took a fork and I ate it. This year I put it on some of the pita as almost a spread with the spiced vegetables and stuff like that. But when I ate it, here's what I would say. Doesn't have a bad taste at all, but texture. Didn't like the texture. Basically, think if you like a ribeye medium rare. So you know how there's the fat.
Sure.
Yeah. If you cook it well, it gets kind of cooked.
Yeah.
Fat. So if you took a knife and you took that fat and you cut it and you put it in your mouth and ate it.
Something along those lines.
That's exactly what it was like.
Gotcha.
It's like eating a rare steak and eating that fat capsule on the ribeye or on a T-bone or whatever.
Right.
On a rarely cooked steak, that was what the texture was like, which did not agree with me. So I used it as a spread. I improvised.
It's all about improvisation, my friend.
Yeah, once a year, whenever we go to Morocco, I'll eat it. Just, I want to be polite to the people.
So you enjoyed your week.
It's a good week. Yeah, we got a chance.
How was the tournament, by the way? I mean, I did not catch. Usually when you're covering something, I usually try to tune in a couple of times during the week.
We're on at 8 a.m. every morning because it's a 5-hour time or 6-hour time difference.
But
6 hours.
I did not catch you at all during.
It was good, man. It was Stephen Alker, who's great on the Champions Tour.
Is the course challenging, Pop? Is it a tough course?
Courses. So it as the Brits and the international players said, it's a proper golf course. Tee to green, it's unbelievable. Greens are like almost like Augusta-ish.
Really? Okay.
Oh my God! There's guys playing shots out of bunkers, trying to hit it 30 feet past the hole to use the slope to bring it back. It's challenging. I mean, Harrington, Stewart Sink, Ernie Els, they were kind of all in the mix, but Miguel Angel Jimenez, who hadn't won 2.5 years, picked up his 14th win, which is fourth most for active players on the Champions Tour. He tied Fred Couples. And, oh, my God, the party at the hotel and the restaurant upstairs on the roof at the Fairmont in Rabat.
Oh, yeah.
I got video. With these virtual backgrounds, it only allows me to post stills. Maybe Jerry knows how to post video.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to put some video in of my tour through the Medina to the restaurant, and then Miguel Angel Jimenez. There were a lot of players and their wives and people from the tour upstairs at the Fairmont in the rooftop restaurant outdoor patio, having drinks and dinner when the tournament was over because the charter didn't leave until Sunday. And the entire wait staff had the bottles of champagne that had the confetti come out of it, and they're playing music, for Miguel, and he stands up, he's toasting everybody, and then they played, I can't remember what song, and he starts dancing with the cigar. Man, it was priceless.
What did he finish, by the way, score-wise? What did he finish?
11 under over 3 rounds, which on the Champions Tour is low. I mean, normally a winning score on the Champions Tour and a non-major is 16 to 18 under, maybe 20. He got to 11, and that was
a tough course.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Sal from Yonkers is asking you a question.
Will I be at Broken Sound in Boca in March? Right now the PGA Tour Champions, the PGA Tour, we're doing a lot of the stuff. We're doing a lot of the shows out of the brand new PGA Tour studios that just opened. So like this week, the Champs Tour is in Naples, but myself and Paul Azinger are going to be in the studio. John Cook will be on the ground in Naples. I'm hoping to be in Boca for this new event because it's a Pro-Am format in conjunction with the NFL Alumni Association. So I know Chris Carter's already committed, but a lot of like Hall of Fame caliber NFL players are going to play in this thing, in this Pro-Am kind of format or whatever. So I'm hoping that we'll do that one from Boca, Broken Sound, in a few weeks.
Okay, so on X the other day, as I'm watching the Waste Management, one of my favorite tournaments, right?
Thomas Dietrich. How you doing?
Dietrich was incredible Sunday. He finished like a champion. He really did. So I put on X, I said, man, am I asking too much to play that 16th hole one time in my lifetime? So Bob Papa, with all your juice, can you get me on that 16th hole in Scottsdale at any time in the future?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Bob.
What I can't get you is your airfare and your hotel.
I'm not asking that. I just want to line up in that tee box one time and act like the crowd is there and hit my 153 tee, whatever the hell it is, and just see where I could put it on that green and just act like the crowd is there.
Or you should come down you should come down next month. Come to Sawgrass and envision playing 17.
I mean, that's the 2 bucket list. Obviously 17 in TPC and obviously 16 at the Waste Man at the Phoenix, the Open.
Hey, when we first moved down here, I knew the players was a big deal. But I didn't realize how big a deal it is.
Oh.
To this point, all sports activity, because my son Max is 10, all sports activity is suspended. That's when spring break is for all the schools in St. Johns County.
Wow, it's really big, huh? Wow.
They literally, all the schools have spring break. Everything's canceled because all the facilities, Davis Park, Cornerstone, where they play baseball, like all those places are used for parking. And I went last year. I had never been to the Players. I didn't go 2 years ago. Last year I went.
Okay.
Because I had no idea that my credential for the PGA Tour that I use for the Champions Tour or whatever,
yeah,
allows me to just walk right in. I had no idea. So we went, practice round on Wednesday. Took Max. He was there with all of his friends. And on Wednesday, practice round, we waited. Because everyone thinks they're all playing the front nine. All the top players play 9 holes on Wednesday, and then they get out of there.
So they only play 9 on Wednesday, and they get out of there.
A lot of them.
Okay.
So we camped out on the 9th green.
Okay.
And the first group through 9 is Cantlay. So good friends with Joe LaCava. Good friends with his coach, Jamie Mulligan, Cantlay's coach. We got a golf swing train product that's out. You know what? Wait a second. You know what? This is our podcast. Why don't I just put this in?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna put the banner in. There's a lot of golf fans out here.
Sure. Sound from Yonkers. Look, he played in TPC Sawgrass, he said.
So anyway, we had the greatest time. You know what? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to put a banner in. I was trying to. So I'm going to just type it in.
So you had the greatest time.
So we had the greatest
You're on the
time.
You said you're on the 9th green.
So Cantlay comes, introduced him to Max, some of his friends. He signs everything. Scheffler comes through. I've known Scotty because I did all the college golf.
I know you told me you covered him college, yeah.
Kuchar comes through. Know him from Hawaii. Justin Thomas comes through. I know him, college golf then. Spieth comes through. I know him. And these guys couldn't have been nicer. Then Stricker, who won the senior players the year before, the Champions Tour senior players winner earns a spot in the field. Like Ernie's eligible to play this year. Stricker was last year. Stricker brings the kids under the ropes. He's taking pictures with them, like everything. Rory comes through. Rory couldn't have been nicer. Like, it was, and then we went to the tournament, and I was like, holy shit, this is unbelievable. And listen, Augusta's Augusta, right? They have it down to a science for spectator enjoyment.
Okay.
But in the U.S. Open, PGA Championship, Open Championship, they go to different venues every year. So, every venue has its own unique flavor, but it's Augusta and the players, same place every. The fan experience at Sawgrass is second to only Augusta.
Wow.
And the only reason, with Augusta is the fact that you can't get on it. Sawgrass, you can go play it. I mean, you got to mortgage your house, but I'll tell you what, you would enjoy it.
So what you're saying is that
how awesome the players were.
So what you're saying is that I could go down to TPC Sawgrass and watch a round of the players.
Sure, dude, it's amazing.
No, I mean because of you.
I could probably get you in. Yeah, that's the website. Go check it out. John Cook and Jamie Mulligan. It's called mypowerplaying.com. For all you people that are dealing with snow and ice on the East Coast, northern part of the country, you can't go out and hit balls. You can groove your swing with My Power Play. Go watch the videos. Go on the website. Watch the tutorials. Jamie Mulligan says it's the best swing. He goes, I get pitched to endorse swing training things all the time. He goes, some of them can help. Some of them can. He goes, a lot of them can actually hurt you. This one, he goes, can never damage your swing. Mark O'Meara tried it, loved it.
Wow. Okay.
And John Cook is the brains behind this thing. And the coolest part is you could roll it up, put it in your travel bag, take it with you on the road. You could roll it up in your office while you're watching TV. You could sit on a chair or you could stand while you're watching golf on TV because it's all about muscle memory. It's all about muscle memory, and it's all about staying in the pocket. It's right here, not here and here. It's all right here, and my power plane just creates muscle memory for you. I use it before I go hit balls, I'll use it for like 5-10 minutes, righty, lefty, and then I'll hit 10 irons. I'll hit 10 9-irons. Then I'll go back to my power plane. Then I'll hit 10 7-irons. I'll hit 5 irons. Then I'll hit 3 hybrid. And in between each set, I just kind of use my power plane. And it just basically what it does is it helps you turn.
Right.
It teaches you how to turn and not sway.
Right.
And you just stay in that base, stay in that pocket. Check it out.
Well, I will be checking it out.
That's the website, mypowerplane.com.
Especially because I haven't swung a club in a month and a half now, or 2 months now.
Go check it out because it's and it's something that you can keep in the back of your car. Like let's say you're playing someplace, and where you play, which is where most golfers play. They don't really have a range. Maybe they got a net. They got those yellow golf balls. Maybe the net's crowded. Whatever.
Yeah.
This is a way to don't take 2 clubs and start swinging them around like your big poppy on deck or something.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hurt their neck and stuff by doing this. You can have your My Power Plane in your car, in your parking lot. Spend 5 minutes doing this. Watch the videos.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's a really cool innovation, and John Cook's 100% behind it, and we got a lot of people that have used it. That I don't want to name some names, but there's some notable figures on both the women's and men's side of the game that have used it and really like it.
Sounds good. I will definitely be checking it out.
I'm gonna leave it up there because you know what?
Leave it up there. Yep.
Why not? All right. Anything else you got,
Bob? I guess something we haven't touched on while you were away. Eli Manning did not get in on the first go. I think
I knew he wasn't getting it.
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement that Eli will be in Canton. He's just going to have to wait a few years, but he will be in Canton. I know a lot of people are panicking.
Well, there's some people that he's going to be going up against that are going to probably hop him.
That's why I put the other day, I put out, look, Eli's going to get in, but it might be a few years. Like next year, you have Drew Brees up. You have Larry Fitzgerald, who's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
There's a lot of jump the line guys coming up.
There's a lot of jump, what you call
Roethlisberger is going to jump the line.
So Eli's going to get in. He deserves to be in. It just might not be as fast.
I thought he might get in this year only because there were no quarterbacks. Look, it's hard I was with Shannon Sharp in his hotel room, 2008. When he retired, that was his first year of eligibility. When he had retired, he led in just about every statistical category for a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And it took him 3 years to get in.
Mm-hmm.
It took Shannon 3 years to get in. And he handled it great. He went in eyes wide open. I think Chris Carter in the 7 season when the Giants were in the Super Bowl, I was working for HBO at the time doing boxing. He was on Inside the NFL. I think Peter King tried to tell him, he goes, Chris, as awesome as your career was, there's a lot of people in that room, and there's guys that have waited 2, 3, 4 years that get down to that final group. Now, I think Eli didn't even make the final 10.
From what I understand, no, he did not.
So that's concerning. That's concerning because once you make the final 10, you get rubber stamped in.
Yes.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Look, I believe he's a Hall of Famer. I believe he's going to get in. There tends to be a little bit of anti-New York sentiment in those rooms. How it took Harry Carson that long is mind-boggling.
Yeah, I agree.
But, through no fault of Eli's, but bad drafting, starting in 2010, 11, 12, 13, bad drafting hurt Eli's chances. When Eli Manning was handed that Super Bowl MVP award for the second time after that magnificent 11 season in which he carried the team.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, they were horrible. They were ranked 31st or 30th in the NFL in yards per carry. They weren't good running the ball that year. It perked up when Bradshaw ran over the Jets safety, and things changed from that point on Christmas Eve of 11. He carried it, fourth quarter, comebacks, everything. When he got handed that second limit, he was 32. With Eli Manning as your quarterback, the Giants should have been perennially a playoff team, division winner contender, and in the playoffs as a division winner or a wild card for the next 5 or 6 years. But they drafted so badly on the offensive line, and the Reuben Randalls of the world and guys like that, just really, it's unfortunate. And then in 16, when they finally get back to the playoffs, and he plays like the old Eli Manning, and Odell and Cruz and Shep can't catch a cold, except not having their shirt on after the boat trip, when the Giants could have easily been up 17-0 after the first quarter.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, and everyone looks at his record, everyone looks at the interceptions, everyone looks at all this other stuff for the naysayer. And unfortunately, because of bad drafting, the naysayers gave that argument. It should have never come down to any.
Should never came down to that. Yep.
And it's not Eli's fault.
Yeah.
By any stretch. But he's going to get in. He deserves to be in. There's a lot of people pushing for him that are Hall of Famers, and I think that carries credibility. Mm-hmm. When an Ed Reed says you're definitely in the Hall, when Tom Brady says, obviously Peyton's going to be biased. But there's a lot of people that
Kurt Warner said he's going to get in. It might be a few years. He said the same thing, but he's going to be in. Kurt Warner said the same thing.
When Eli won that second Super Bowl, I said Eli Manning. I said at the time, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes to 2 more Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. With where his game was, his intelligence level, and everything else. But if you don't draft well, it comes back to bite you.
And we just saw a team before we sign off. We just saw 2 teams that just played Sunday night that draft really well, especially that team in green. So, hey, it's a lot of work to do. The offseason's here, Pop. A lot of work to do for these teams, especially the Giants and all that stuff to try to catch up to these guys and the Super Bowl champions of the NFC East. So a lot of work to do, and that's why they get paid the big bucks, my friend, to get the work.
And all right, so all you golf nuts, check out mypowerplane.com. Yep. You can look at all the videos. We got a lot of good videos on there, instructional, and why this could be good for you. And you know what else we got? We got some really cool national guests that want to come on this show in the next couple of weeks.
Folks, it's going to be great times here, man. This offseason is going to be interesting. Next week, we're hoping to have somebody on that will break down the quarterbacks that are coming out. He will also talk about maybe some bridge quarterbacks in the future possibility, I guess, with the Giants. Some guys he likes that are out there. I think we're all in agreement, Bob, that Joe's probably going to bring in a veteran and most likely draft one. So there's some veterans out there that are very intriguing. I was looking at it, and I think some guys that Joe Shane will be very interested in. And that's all going to be coming up in the next few months. And we're going to have some guys breaking it down, what they feel. And some of your national guests that you're teasing me with this, Papa. Folks, Papa has not texted me the names yet, but he's teasing me this.
Well, one of them
So, no, I'm not talking about next week. I'm talking about the one you just a little while ago. You're like, so I'll have to find out who that is.
Covers the league as good as anybody covers the National Football League.
Okay, so there should be some good guests coming up, interesting guests, and people are going to really like it.
Yeah.
Has your body caught up to time yet, Pop?
I don't deal with jet lag.
What does that mean?
I don't deal with it. I've been traveling since 1989.
Does it take a day for your body to catch up to
it
time?
doesn't take a day.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
My body says whatever time is on the clock where we are.
That's good, man.
That's what it is.
That's freaking good. Okay.
Well, I've been traveling since 1989. I've learned how to trick my body.
I know, but you're not exactly a spring chicken anymore. Okay, is that right for me to say that? All right, you're not a spring chicken anymore there, Paisan. Okay.
Easy. All right, let me chin you.
My friend, thank you.
Hey, spread the word. The Mangia Cast will send out tweets on our social media. Tell your friends to subscribe. Then you get the alert that we're going live when we are. and check out my power plant. Biz, until next week. Hopefully one of these shows, I'm not out of practice. We're going from one practice to another where I want to cook a meal. I want to make something, take some pictures of it, and then eat it while we're doing the show, because it is the Mangia Cast.
That's true.
And you know what? I got to come up to Jersey next week. I got to get me some tamales, that brand of tamales I need. I got to bring them back.
And you know what? You're lighting up. You lighting up Tuesday night, cigar-wise, right?
Possibly.
I might have to reach out to my friend there whose event it is for. I don't know. I might have to see you there, Pop. I don't know. See if I can weasel my way in there to the lounge. I'm pretty sure our friend will be like, yeah, come on over, Biz. You know,
for the cigars, for sure.
Yeah, so I might see you Tuesday night. It's possible. We'll see how that works out. I don't want to impose myself on it.
No, for the cigars, sure.
But that's what I'm saying, not for the other thing. I'm talking about the cigars. Obviously, if our friend says, yeah, Biz coming over, it's his place, he's going to have a guest over. And so I might see you Tuesday night, lighten up together.
That'd be fun.
All right, man, I'll see you soon.
Chin chin.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We almost got to 1,000. Next time we got to get it over. Well, if guest that I think we're going to probably have next week, I think it'll take us well over 1,000. I ain't done.
Yeah.
See ya.
Because we'll build that up. Are we still recording?
No, we're still live.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not let me know when we're not live. So
that was like a Papa family goodbye. Every holiday, your family's probably the same. Christmas Eve, whatever it is, you say goodbye to the same people like 9 times. You make the move, say goodbye to cousins, aunts, uncles, and you say goodbye, and you keep saying goodbye, and it takes forever to say goodbye. Absolutely. How many more times I gotta give you a kiss goodbye? Yeah. I gave you a kiss goodbye 40 minutes ago. Why am I circling back? Because that's what you do.
If you plan on leaving the house like at 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, for argument's sake, say you want to leave at 1 o'clock in the morning at Christmas Eve, you really don't get out of the house till like 2 o'clock, 1:45.
You know what we got to get on this show? We got to get DeVito on this show.
That would be a bad idea. Tommy Cutlets would be a very interesting guest.
Yeah.
He's a paisan.
Exactly.
We got to get Tommy Cutlets on. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I'll work on that one too. All right. Now I'm going to turn the stream off. Please subscribe. Tell your friends. Mangia Cast.